Hey there, Kimball here. Today we're going through a replay from Collinator in the gold ranks, doing some twos with his buddy Rabble Rouser, it looks like. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Definitely had some things to mention in the game here. One being like, this was a little funky. So on that kickoff, you have, I guess you have like one of two options. You either going for the ball or your partner going for the ball, and you're getting the kickoff and you grab the boost over in the corner, and your partner's kind of ready to come in here too. He's watching you, and you kind of come back and you circle back towards the ball. So I assume you're on comms and you're talking to each other, which is why that ended up working out the way that it did, and you guys didn't go for the same ball at the same time. But just something to be aware of. It comes up later in the video, is why I'm mentioning it now. Just being clear on who's going for that, and being, clear with your car communication as well, in terms of what you're intending to do. When you're not on comms, it can be really hard to see or predict what your teammate's doing. So being able to communicate with your car and be clear about what you're doing, going back if you're acting like you're gonna go back, or staying up, acting like you are gonna stay up if you intend on staying up. So just something to keep in mind. It worked out for you there, with a nice little goal, but yeah, just something to remember. On this is unfortunate. This is one reason why you don't see some people cheating up in twos, just because it's risky. There's a time for it, and if you're doing really well, maybe you're winning 3-0 or 4-0, go ahead, man, take a risk. But 8 seconds into a ranked match and you're up one, cheating on those kickoffs by your partner is a little risky. Especially when you didn't really have to. So not a big deal. 2 kickoff goals back to back in the first 10 seconds. You can live with those and get past them. The kickoff's fine. It was a little funky actually, just in that it doesn't look like you hit the ball squarely in the middle. Usually on kickoffs you want to try to get a good square hit on the ball. This is how you can give up a lot of goals in ones, actually. I'm going to go to fly view, even though I've heard from a couple of people they don't really like the fly view, but I think in this instance it makes sense. Go really slow. See how he's above where you are hitting the ball? You want to try to hit the ball more towards where he is, so that it doesn't ramp off of your car like this. Look at that. So automatically they have, this guy, Chicken Fingers, is back here. He sees it happening. There's a little bit of an opportunity there for him to come in and grab that ball. But, he actually gets a nice shot out of it. But it was all due to that one kickoff. So when you go for those kickoffs, try to make sure that you're hitting the ball squarely in the middle. So that kind of thing doesn't happen. But kickoffs are basically just a setup 50-50, so the ball can go anywhere. Just trying to limit those situations is usually to your benefit. Nice shot here. You go all the way back, which, I mean, it's okay. I think there's an opportunity to be quicker and, not go so far out of position that you can't back up your teammate. Actually, the better view, I think, is probably Chicken Fingers. Let's go back to player view. See, Rabble Rouser pushing the ball in, and Chicken Fingers actually gets a hit out of it, but if you were to this ball a little bit sooner, you could have probably caught it a little higher in the air to send the ball up. Definitely when you make those shots, try to get the ball high into the net versus just kind of bouncing across the goal line. They're a lot harder to save when they're up high. And if you're to that ball sooner, you have a little more time to prepare and try to send that ball in somewhere that's not so easy to be saved. But still, nonetheless, good pressure by you. Didn't end up in a goal, but that's okay. It was still good offensive pressure. Yeah, that was funky. Yeah. No reason really to fly off the wall there. Your buddy's back and they're not pressuring. All you're doing is kind of wasting boost and, putting yourself out of position for 2 to 4 seconds. Oh man, that's easy goal right here. Actually, there's a guy, Paquito, made some really good training courses for just ground shots, things that you shouldn't be missing. Make these easy shots. I saw this in your other replay as well. Taking advantage of those open nets will really mean the difference between a win and a loss in most cases. So that was a little bit unfortunate. That could have been a goal, but that kind of stuff happens. Rabble-Rouser playing pretty defensive here, which is fine. This is your ball. Weird challenge. Very weird. You need to be to this ball sooner. Part of keeping someone out of your end requires you to make it hard for them to get into your end. That's a little bit obvious, but he has a lot of time to get chicken fingers. Has time to set up this ball to get a good hit on it, and that's pretty much what he does. So he's beating you to this ball because you were so far away. So knowing when, or trying to determine when you can take possession or get to the ball earlier is something to definitely work on. It's hard to always know, but man, you completely missed the ball with this challenge. Whiff. And now your buddy is forced to deal with a circumstance here. You never want to isolate your teammate. Luckily he dealt with it really, really well. This is a little unfortunate. So this just comes down to basic rotations, and maybe in this moment you felt like you had the ball, but your buddy's right here. He could have got a nice hit, into the corner where chicken fingers is, and possibly sent it back over him versus, giving him possession and, doing a double commit for a ball that really wasn't all that worth it for you. So use those comms if you are. Maybe Rabble-Rouser didn't, communicate that he was there, and maybe you didn't know he was there, but communicating definitely can make the difference between a goal and a, missed opportunity. So just keep that in mind. I'm just gonna back up here. So that was your hit. They didn't really use that opportunity to their advantage. This is golds, so that can kind of be expected. That could have been a cool shot that you went for there, but it didn't work out. Again, Rabble-Rouser is by himself. Granted, he could have challenged here, or at least kept them busy in the corner. Made them work for that, because you're on your way back. You are on the wrong side of the ball here, but Rabble-Rouser could have been making it hard for them to get towards their net. So that's a little unfortunate because it does end up in a goal. But again, don't isolate your teammates if you can avoid it. You put him into a spot he didn't know how to deal with, and that resulted into a goal, which is unfortunate. And that gave them the lead also. This is so I wanted to mention this, and I saw this in your other video, your other replay as well, but look at all this time that you're driving towards this boost. It's not showing up on the replay, but that's a glitch. But you should be glancing at the ball, you know, so there you go. You got the boost, you got nearly to the boost, and then you checked where the ball is, but ideally you want to be seeing what's going on with the ball as you're heading to the boost, because if the ball does end up coming towards your net, you want to be able to you know, abort and tend to the very urgent need of getting the ball out of your end. So I mentioned it now because it does come up elsewhere in this replay. You always want to know where the ball is and be able to be in a position where you can deal with it. Good pressure by you here. I'm just going to go back to 100. Nice pass. Good little play. Didn't work out, but that's how you score goals, which is good. Look at this again. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So let me go even back further. You go off ball cam right here. So the time is 3:06. You went 5 whole seconds without knowing exactly where that ball was. A lot can happen in 5 seconds, especially in twos. You want to be glancing, you know, toggle that ball cam button, because both you and your teammate were coming back for boost, and if he wasn't looking at the ball and you weren't looking at the ball, that's a goal. So just keep that in mind. Toggle that ball cam. Get used to that. You know, use that to your advantage. Being able to do something while looking at the ball. You know, that's a huge skill advantage if you can master that. So you didn't get scored on there, which is good. I like what you're doing here in concept, and that you're challenging for the ball. You're challenging the ball. Keeping it out of your end is always good. Just a bit of a weird hit, and it's really because you're so far up here. I like to be about a third of the field away from my teammate when we're not either rotating or about to score, or, you know, on defense. So this kind of in-between time is a great demonstration of why you should be like here. And I've talked about it before, but you know, the field in quadrants kind of thing. You can split the field up into 4 quadrants. You should kind of be like here-ish. So if you were here, watch what would happen. This is too slow. So he, this is all in hindsight, and of course, you know, I noticed it in the replay because I'm only looking at it really as hindsight, but you could have been in a position to either, you know, push up as he was taking possession and gotten a nice hit out of it. But really here, you're just kind of giving away possession, which is a bit unfortunate. And you never want to give up possession if you don't have to. But they didn't capitalize on it. Again, just toggle that ball cam button. Good challenge here, really solid clear. That's good stuff. Nothing comes out of it, but still it's really good offensive pressure. Good job just, you know, keeping it out of your goal range here. That's fine. Sometimes you can actually make nice little hits off of those. Just definitely when you hit the ball, try to focus on hits that will give you an advantage and not give away possession. So just keep that in mind when you go to hit. Like, try to put it in a position where it's going to be good for you. Luckily that worked out. Rabble-Rouser went for the challenge there, but actually ran into the guy. That stuff happens. Good job avoiding a goal here. Rotations seem fine. It's good patience by you there. This is okay. You jump so early right there. Let's look at it from your teammate's perspective. 50. So this ball is going up the wall, but look, you jumped right there. You see that circle under your car? And that ball is not exactly close to you. Oh, we're on him. That ball's not exactly close to you. So you're jumping here. That's almost never gonna work like that. When you go for those wall hits, you want to be able to, you know, one, make contact with the ball, but two, not put yourself in a spot where you're, you know, potentially putting yourself into a recovery mode, and that's kind of what you're doing, trying to recover that hit, which look is funky. You end up getting it, which kind of jukes Smurf Kool-Aid guy, which is good, but you're, again, like, Rabble-Rouser was right here. And so, in that instance, maybe you would have just gone back, and Rabble-Rouser said, I got it. You know? Because if he would have hit that, if Rabble-Rouser would have hit that, maybe that would have gone into their corner and been in a nice little spot to, you know, get some offensive pressure going. And instead, you're keeping the ball from getting on your end. So there's a, you know, there's a difference there. Nice shot attempt by Rabble-Rouser. It didn't go in, but that's okay. Again, just, you know, knowing when to be closer to the ball is going to be a skill that you should work towards getting better at. You're so far away here, and Chicken Fingers really has all the time in the world. Look at it from his angle. So Rabble-Rouser goes for that shot. It's a little high. Chicken Fingers has all the time in the world to figure out what to do here, because you're all the way back there. And by the time he hits it, you're struggling with what to do with that. See that? And that's right over you. Granted, it's off target. Just, you know, putting yourself into a position where you're unable to hit the ball is always going to be dangerous. And again, you know, you don't want to isolate your teammates. Luckily, they didn't get a goal out of it, which is always good. That was weird. So from your teammate's perspective, you're going for this ball, but then you leave it. And I think it's because you think Chicken Fingers has it. But just committing will help a lot. Or just, you know, deferring to your teammate, trusting your teammate. You're partied up, you're probably on comms. Trusting him to do the right thing is going to be huge. So after that play, you come back. Rabble-Rouser takes the ball and you just sit on the boost. It's probably because you have none, but man, look at this. There's pads everywhere. Like there's enough pads there to have you know, some offensive pressure. So while you're sitting there, this happens. So Rabble-Rouser with a little pressure. This is a ball that if you were here, you could be on. You could be on that. But instead of that happening, Smurf Kool-Aid Kid has time to set up a hit for him. Why didn't I select you? And it puts you in a position where you're again trying just to keep the ball out of your side. You know, luckily that challenge worked out for you, but it might not always work out like that. You definitely don't want to let them or grant them easy access to your side of the field. Again, like Rabble-Rouser can probably benefit from it as well, but Paquito's ground shot training is so good. I'll drop the code into the description of the video. They missed that. Open net. Again, just make those open nets. Capitalize on those. Make those easy shots. That could have been a tied game. Way past tied by now, actually. The amount of easy shots you guys have had. This is okay. It wasn't as powerful as I might have liked because you were next to the ball on the wall. But, you know, getting behind the ball, you could have sent that easily, you know, a little further downfield. But it worked out. Rotations are working well right now. Get to that, get to that, get to that sooner. Sooner. Look at that. Look at all the time Smurf Kool-Aid Kid has here. Smurf Kool-Aid. I'm just watching it from this angle. But he has time to get that on the car and figure out what he's going to do with it. So just be mindful of that. Like, your buddy is all the way back. So you could be on that immediately. Immediately. And again, you're trying to keep the ball out of your end of the field versus forcing it to be on their end of the field. There's a difference. But you get a goal. And that's good. Nice pass by the opponent there. You don't miss that easy shot, which is great, man. Good job. Tied up. Again, just toggle that ball cam on, off, on, off. Because if he lost that kickoff, going for boost on those kickoffs, you're going to be, you know, in a tough spot or giving up an easy goal, which you never want. Good pressure by you there. Unfortunately, Rabble-Rouser goes for this switch. In my opinion, is a risky move. It is overtime, so trying to finish it and get the win is, you know, a good idea. Nice recovery by him, but clearly Smurf Kool-Aid Kid has this ball easy. So he's got both you guys beat. Luckily, they don't do anything with that because they don't have enough time and you're on to overtime, but it worked out. So this is the difference. In the beginning of the game, in this same kickoff, you went for the ball. You grabbed boost and you went for the ball. So Rabble-Rouser's back here trying to figure out what you're going to do because, you know, you went for the ball on that kickoff the other time, but you don't go for it there. So use those comms. If you're not on like voice comms, do the quick chats. Take the shot, I got it, whatever. Your ball. You could have gotten here sooner, or like you could have been there sooner, but again, you went all the way back for boost and you're not, you know, completely supporting the offensive pressure that Rabble-Rouser is putting on, but it's okay. Good job keeping the ball out of your goal area and keeping them busy. Nice hit by Rabble-Rouser, very close to ending the game right there. Crossbars. Crossbars will get you. Oh, so in this situation, you have your teammate that just got that aerial that almost went in. He's doing the right thing and just leaving immediately because he figures, you know, you're gonna come in to clean up. But you're so late to this again because you're all the way backfield, and you might have thought that was game, and that's why. And that's, if that's the case, then, you know, I understand. 'Cause from this far back, it's kind of hard to tell. But you could be there, even if you were just like a third of the way closer to the ball than where you are now. That would have meant that you would be, you know, here's you. Even if you were just here, you would have a much better angle on this had a more, I guess, predicted trajectory to send that ball on versus, you're rushing in as fast as you can to get to that ball. And just, making those easy shots. I heard you double jump too, which you might have not needed to there. It's not that very high of an aerial. But if you were closer to that, easy shot. Even like they're an easy shot. And that's why I want you to practice those easy shots in that training I'm going to drop in the description. But it's not the end of the world. Yet. Oh, it looked a little bit like you were going to challenge that here, and Rabble Rouser might be thinking that. Yeah. Because you should be going back here, and Rabble Rouser should be coming in. But that's not really what happens. And instead, you get boost and come back, and Rabble Rouser's all the way back because he thought you were going to, challenge. So that just really just grants them easy access into your side of the field, which again, you never want to allow if you can avoid it. You're in net. Good job. Easy goal. Easy goal. Oh, easy goal. I don't know how much boost you have though, so that's, I wish these replays let me see your boost tank, but it doesn't. Good job. Good catch, man. That was actually a really good catch. Nice job there. Perfect. Went for the flick, but didn't pop off like probably how you wanted, and he read it. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I don't know what else you could have done there, but definitely it starts with not letting them just come onto your side of the field. Let me get back to that point. So this whole play, like, let's look how much time he has. So he's like, no, I'm just gonna wait for this perfect bounce, send it off the wall, go over on this side, just casually come on over to your side of the field before someone's actually coming for the ball. That was the onset of this offensive pressure that led to the goal that cost you the game. Yeah, that's also one of those hits too where, like, you don't want to give it the ball if you don't have to. Sometimes being in this corner and just faking like you're gonna hit is actually a really good strategy, because maybe they think, hey, he's gonna pass it to me. I'm gonna wait for his hit to get the pass. And instead, maybe you just halt right there and let this guy do something and try to read whatever Smurf kid's gonna do. But you basically did his job for him, and he's still in it. So it's right here, it's a 2-on-1, which causes Rabble Rouser to wonder what the hell's gonna happen, and unfortunately it's a top left corner goal, which pretty much cost you the game. So just to recap, do that ground shot training, make those easy goals, toggle that ball cam on and off, instead of staying off and just assuming everything's okay, because it isn't always. Try not to isolate your teammate. Again, just put them in a position where they can do something to help advance the game in your favor. If they're trying to figure out what to do, or they're scrambling with the situation that they're in, it can lead to a goal. Just field positioning, again, try to be about a third of the field away from teammates, unless you're either scoring, defending, or rotating out. And focus on those hits that will give you an advantage to not give away possession. Two more things were Trying to determine when you can take possession and get to the ball earlier. Take advantage of those opportunities if they're giving them to you. If they're giving you possession, try to make something out of it. And just, not allowing your opponents easy access to your side of the field is a really big one. So I think those are some things to work on, at least somewhere to start. Making those easy goals, I think, should definitely be a priority for you, though. Do that Paquito training, and maybe before you go into rank, just dial those reflexes in. Give it a try. I really actually like it. It's a really fun training to do. There's a ton of shots in there. It's just really a fun way to warm up. It's just really simple, easy shots. Just, send them into the net over and over. And there's like 50 of these. Being able just to quickly put the ball into the net for easy shots that should go will help you a lot. So focus on those. Again, I'll drop the code into the description. I'm not going to do all these. I just wanted to show you an example of, what they do. Just really easy shots, things you shouldn't, necessarily be missing. All right, man. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. If there's anything else that you want me to look at, I'm happy to do so. Hopefully this is what you're looking for. We're here to help. So if you have any other questions, definitely let us know in the coaching channel. Thanks.